A section of residents on the Auroville campus in Puducherry are protesting the decision to build a new circular road. In fact, nobody is objecting to that road, but there are concerns over the way it's being built. They express concerns over the present challenges in terms of the water deficit area and also the socio-cultural elements there. To tell us more about that, I have with me Ms Suhasini Ayer, an Aurovillian who's also part of the architecture team, planning and architecture team.
I'm involved in the planning and architecture of certain areas in Auroville.
Right. So what exactly is your concern? Are your concerns?
The concern is basically that we have a concept prepared by the architect chosen by the mother, which has been translated into a master plan that was presented to the Ministry of Urban Development in 2001 and accepted by them, and a GO in 2011. Now, the only issue here that we are facing is that this master plan has to be translated into a detailed development plan. Auroville is developing. We do need to have roads, houses, and other development. The debate is only about how we develop. Nobody is disputing the master plan. Nobody is disputing the concept of Auroville. It's just a debate between a difference of perception. There is a group of people who feel that the master plan should be translated taking into account the challenges, both local and global, which means water deficit area, environmental action that has happened here, the socio-cultural aspects of the people living here, and the people who feel that we have enough space to displace the trees and, using engineering and technology, take care of water harvesting and the watersheds in a different manner. So it's not as if this debate is unique to Auroville. Please understand. This is a debate that is happening. That's what COP26 was about, how to do development.
So if you can explain to us, we understand it's a 4-kilometer wide circular road. What are your specific concerns if they went ahead without listening to your concerns?
Our concerns is that this is an internal road, which we call the crown, that links the 4 zones, the industrial, international, residential, and the cultural. This internal road is going to be the main, the main center of activities for us. But this passes through 3 or 4 critical areas. 2 of them are environmentally sensitive. One is a low-lying area, which is at the head of a watershed. So where we need to capture water, we need to have plantation that makes the water percolate, and that we need to work on how to protect the watershed there. This road passes through there. There are alternative routes that the road could do, because the road needs to be a ring. Whether it's perfectly circular or it functions as a ring is a perception that has to be dealt with. Then there is another area where there is certain land use that is presently there that has to be displaced in a sensitive manner. How it should be displaced is one of the debate. Then there is a third area which is also kind of sensitive to us, because the kind of traffic that would invite between people who are living around Auroville and the Auroville's development. We don't want it to become a bypass. A part of the road, if it's open today, without looking at the kind of development that is happening in the region, Auroville could become that part of the ring could become a bypass. So these are the 3 main sensitive issues that we as planners have been bringing to the table, saying, yes, the galaxy concept is accepted by everybody in Auroville. The master plan that translates the galaxy concept in terms of the techno-feasibility, yes. But when we are doing the implementation plan, we need to take all the different aspects of the built environment, natural environment, global challenges, the socio-cultural aspects of Auroville and the villages around, and all other things that we don't know. In 10 years, we'll have a different challenge. But we have to do adaptive planning if we want to be sustainable.
What's the committee in charge of the administration? What do they say, and why has it become a problem all of a sudden? Haven't you
I
been
think
deliberating, discussing with them?
I think the problem is only because of a misunderstanding on the level of how things are perceived.
Right.
Right? Most of the time, people perceive environmental issues as an easy way for people to block development. They do not understand that not everybody who talks about environment is using environment as a weapon to stop development. And on the other side, people who are kind of committed to being environmentally sensitive also have a difficulty to understand planning for a very far future by sacrificing certain part of the present. So it is actually a question of linking the past, present and the future in a harmonious way. That's what planning is about. So it's not a conflict. It is, let's say, it's an actively participated dispute of difference of perception. And this gets a bit
And
amplified.
are they going ahead with construction? We understand.
They have been trying to push us to move to understand their side of the story by trying to clear the forest, and we are trying to resist it to make them understand our concerns.
So what happens at night? We hear reports of
That was a bit of a
heavy vehicles.
Unfortunate action on part of people that we don't know exactly who took the decision to make an action in the middle of the night, thinking that that would help to build this road, okay? Which is very unfortunate because it was completely unnecessary. The debate is necessary, compromise and understanding and communication is necessary. And maybe sometimes a little pull and push is necessary. But these kind of actions in the middle of the night, which always gets amplified because when it's dark and people are sleeping and you get a call, there is a little bit of emotional drama that gets into it. But I think we have gone to a certain level now from where, at least I personally feel, we have only hope to move forward to a better future.
Right. Thank you so much, Suhasini Ayer, for your time. And that's one side of the story. We're here to speak to the committee in charge of the administration, but both sides, they do not dispute the master plan, but it's all about how to go about, particularly being sensitive to environmental concerns. I have with me two spokespersons from the Auroville Foundation in Puducherry. In fact, they're also members of the Resident Assembly, Sindhuja Jagdish and Joel. Thank you so much for your time. And Sindhuja, if I can come to you first. Those who are raising concerns about the new 4-kilometer long Crown Road coming up, they raise issues like it passes through certain ecologically sensitive points and that the administration is not really mindful of that.
So first of all, I would like to start with correcting the notion that it's new. The Auroville Master Plan was ratified in 1999 by the Residents' Assembly and then converted into a Master Plan document and then subsequently gazetted. And this document has been the base for drawing up all the detailed development plans for the city. And it goes even more back than that. The master plan is based on the Galaxy plan, which was approved by the mother herself, who is the founder of Auroville. So today we are continuing a project which we have started way back, more than a decade ago, which is the Crown Road, which is a part of the master plan. The Crown Road is basically, it's an infrastructure corridor, a road and a mobility corridor which will serve the city area, and it separates the inner city from the city area, to put it very simply. So this road, as per the master plan, is a circular road, and it is the right of way, the full right of way, 16.7 meter wide, in which will be encompassed a 6.7 meter road. These are some facts. So to come to the ecologically sensitive points through which it is crossing, today we are crossing the 4th of December. We started the work on a stretch which is called Bliss. In Auroville, that area is called Bliss. And then subsequently we will reach an area called the Youth Center. So Bliss is a planted area. However, Auroville has a master plan which shows a green belt which is 3 times the size of the city area. And within the city area, there are designated parks. And Bliss does not, the area where the crown crosses through Bliss does not fall in those designated green areas. So planting has been done without permission in those areas. And when the planting was done already, it was known that these trees will eventually either be transplanted or be cut. So today, where we stand with the tree cutting is, it's not an unconscious or a brutal action where somebody goes and without thought cuts down trees. It is a several decade-long conversation process which has gone on within the residents in Auroville. And since the arrival also of the new secretary, Dr. Jayanti Ravi, and the new governing board, we have seen some key issues in the community which has kept us blocked since its inception. Actually, since 53 years, Auroville has very little to show and very little population for the amount of area we are holding also.
We'll come to that very soon. If you can come to you. Now, there are trees, part of what they call as forest in that Bliss forest area, and also if this plan goes ahead, a portion of the youth center will also go away.
Yes.
But can't you be sensitive to redesign the road to avoid any damage or removal of trees?
Okay, so it's an interesting point. The thing is, if we need to redesign, we will need to have all the community to agree with that. Actually, the whole community has already agreed 20 years ago. So for 20 years we have discussed and we didn't agree on something new. So that's one of the first things. What you should know also is that when we speak of forest of trees, those trees have been planted 20 years ago. They have been planted after the agreement done by the community to do the master plan. So they know that it's on the Crown Road. What you should know also is that for each tree that will be removed, 4 trees will be planted somewhere in the green belt. So we have to see also where is the real damage. Now, if you say that we need to move the road a little bit away, which is one of the proposals that has been made, all this area is full of those trees or those small trees. So if you cut them here or cut them there, I mean, it's the same number of trees at the end of the day you will cut. What's the difference is that the people who take care of those specific portions, they prefer not to see their trees being cut. And here we have one of the issues of Auroville, is that we are not supposed to be a landlord of our piece of land. But
so what exactly is the root cause in your view?
Maybe Sindhuja could reply to the root cause, the landlord entitlement.
So there is a serious issue of a feeling of entitlement which has slowly creeped up in the community. In Auroville, we are not landowners, we are not owners of the apartments we live in. We are actually just caretakers towards managers, and we are holding it in faith for humanity as a whole. But what has crept in is a strong sense of entitlement, and the resident assembly insists very strongly to be part of every single decision made on every single aspect of the city, be it development or not, by the way. So this is fine. But if it does not allow the city to move forward and ends in deadlocks for 53 years, then there is an issue to be addressed.
This midnight operation to remove trees, it smacks of a kind of a stealthy approach.
Yes, I can explain. So actually on Saturday morning, 25 workers from the road service of Auroville, accompanied by 2 JCB and a tractor, started the work of clearing the crown in this area, removing trees. What happened is very quickly some Aurovillian, young, some adult also, came onto the site and blocked the JCB and the workers. They were sitting in front or on the machine itself, which was quite dangerous. Some came with small children also. Imagine those big JCB moving, it was quite dangerous. They were able to stop the work. Some policemen came. It was decided that the JCB will leave and that we will all go discuss together because both camps end up being on the working site. What happened during the night is that the foundation decided to finish the work that had started, to do it at night to avoid Aurovillians to come with children again. And the police had been asked to be around the area to prevent also people from intruding. What did happen is that some people did try, after the warning of the police, to enter, and they did do it. and they block again the work. So they had been removed very gently by the police, kept in a jeep for a few hours till the work was done. So the main reason was also to be able to protect the community and the children, because people are just barge in. I mean, if you want to protest, you can protest, but usually you do it on the other side of the road. You don't go on the working site. That can be quite dangerous.
Right. You are actually building a model city actually. But do you think this could have been averted, this kind of unpleasant development? I mean, didn't you have proper discussions, conversations over this?
We did, and that's the result of very unanimously agreed upon master plan in 1999. Subsequently, there was some disagreements raised in those areas of contention, such as Youth Center Bliss, and discussions have been held for the last 20 years. So now the residents of Auroville, we want to build the city. We want to be instruments of the city being built, and we want to see it happen. And there is no getting out of this deadlock without action. And in action, we will find unity. Actually, it's not in discussion that
No
we will
question
find
of reconsideration or redesign?
At this point, the master plan stands, and we intend to continue and implement it.
All right.
So what you should know also is that we have unearthed some documents. Some people who are opposing now the clearing of the Crown Road in 2012, they had signed that they agreed. So it's not 1999. It has been discussed and reapproved and rediscussed and reapproved. And all of a sudden now it's not working.
Right.
You should know also that the Crown Road, the Crown Corridor has been developed since many years. So it's not like coming as a surprise.
Right.
But all of a sudden, when it comes in their area, it's that, oh no, stop, you are killing trees.
Right.
While it's a bit more complicated than that, of course.
There's a perception that Auroville is suddenly on a rapid expansion mode. Why is it?
Since we have been stalled for 53 years, it only makes sense that we speed up now.
In the sense?
In the sense that we are 3,000 people holding 3,000 acres of land. So that does not seem like a very sustainable way of living, and it does not solve India's urban development problems. So if we have to be a model city, then we have to reach the density for which Auroville was planned, which is 50,000 residents. And one of the key issue here, the sense of entitlement and de facto ownership, has also kept Auroville a little bit on the exclusive side. It has discouraged people from coming and joining, because there's a sense that this is for the people living here already.
Call these serious concerns or much ado about nothing. For several decades, Auroville's population hovers around 3,000 against the target of 50,000. Even as it grapples to fast-track this, it's facing uncomfortable questions over sustainable development it claims to champion. At Auroville in Puducherry with Palaniswamy and Suresh, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.